Hello everyone, welcome to Module 1 of Advanced Programming. This is a record, a new update on the way that we kind of go through GitHub. Previously in the previous video, we were allowed to in GitHub because there's been many changes since then, and that was like 4 years ago. One of the things that they modified is you were able to connect to GitHub using HTTPS. They tell you that you can do that, but you can't now. You have to go through a key. So I thought it was time for a new update on a new video showing you how to get the key, setting up the key using SSH. And so that's where we'll start at. So this module is, so just to kind of rephrase, the module is a little bit different. Not only is it with GitHub, but we want to learn how to, in this class, we want to learn about continuous integration and continuous development. And so one of the key things that we've learned at this point in the ball game is, we have to use a remote session due to security purposes. But sometimes when you're on campus, you can use your laptop without a remote session. It just depends. Little holes there or loopholes, whatever case. But nonetheless, in a working environment, I know this is college, and we've learned how to update our code, and we've learned to take the code and use FileZilla and push it up to our website and stuff like that. And those are conventional ways of doing things, but you'll find out once you get a job in the field that you're studying, you'll see that people are doing things differently. They're using automation and so forth. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're limited of what we could do on the Point Park servers, so because we don't have fully access to things that we want to do things with, so we're going to do the best that we can by using an external site that will help manage that. And this external site will communicate with our GitHub. So it's very important that we have GitHub set up properly. So in this video, I'm going to walk through just the GitHub stuff. I'll do another video for the CI/CD stuff, which will be a first setup within the first week. So first and foremost, I would say go out to GitHub if you don't have an account. So I'm just going to say GitHub and see if I can pull up my Point Park account. All right, so I need to sign in. All right. All right, so first thing and first foremost is getting a key set up. Now I have did this before, so I'm going to click on over here to the right, and I am going to set up a key. So if you come over to your right here, and it looks like they changed the menu around a little bit. Once again, not surprised. Hit settings. I am going to come down to SSH and GPG keys. As you see, I have some keys set up here, so we'll set one up just for the heck of it, and you'll click on new SSH key. Now, I'm using a Mac, so I'm going to be using the terminal session. If you're using a PC, I'd recommend using PowerShell for yours. And if you're not familiar with that, if you go down to the right, click on the start button, just type in power, it should come up with this PowerShell. So what I'm going to do here is go into terminal, clear my screen. I'm not sure if we have any Mac users in here or not. So the first step that we're going to do is we need to generate a key. So we're going to do SSH, I'll make this a little bit larger in case my screen's small, hyphen keygen, space, hyphen T, RSA, hyphen C, and then right here we're going to put our email address that's associated with this account. So mine is this, and hit enter. Pretty sure. All right, so just enter file in which to save the key. So I'm just going to use the default location. If you want to choose something else, you can. So I'm just going to hit enter. And do you want to override it? So I don't want to override it, but I'm going to hit no just to show you what happens. Okay, maybe I needed to override it. Didn't want to, but you know what? We'll override it for this video. Sure. So it's going to say enter passphrase. I'll hit enter, enter again. So then it provides this information down here. All right. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to execute the agent bash. So I'm going to type in exec ssh agent bash, like that. It says to update your account, use the zsh. Please run. Oh, that's new. All right, so let's see here. And this is another workaround. So we should be able to do ssh agent -s. Okay, perfect. So that works. It shows that there's an agent running. As you see here, everything changes quite often, which is, you know, good and bad sometimes. All right, so now we need to create the public key. So come back over here. So in order to create the public key, I need to type in cat for cat space tilts /.ssh. I'm gonna locate the area where I save the file at, and I'm gonna do id underscore rsa.pub for public, and then boom, you guys are seeing my key, which is not what I want, but it's fine. And then what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna copy this whole information here, copy, and then I'm gonna log into GitHub, which we are, give it a key. So I'll just say Jeffrey J. Seaman PPU. We'll call it date 06/28/23. That's fine. Authentication key. I'm gonna paste it in here, and I'm gonna hit add SSH key, just like that. Key is invalid. You must supply a key in open SSH because I've already had this. This is probably because I've already created a key. Let's see if I did something different. Settings. Let's see here. Let's see. What did I do wrong? Go here. Settings. That's where I was at. I'm not sure what I meant by open key. New SSH keys, that's where I was at. New SS, maybe I clicked on that perhaps, but I don't think so. I'll just call it new. Authentication type, yeah. Key is invalid, you must apply a key in OpenSH format. So what the heck does that mean? That's new to me. Okay, maybe I didn't grab everything I was supposed to grab. So let's see. Thought I grabbed everything. I did grab everything. Oh, maybe I didn't grab this SHH. Maybe that's what it is. So copy, because I think I just copied that. Maybe that's the problem. All right, so let's do, and I'll just call it new key. Yeah, make sure you have that. All right, so that was my problem, is I didn't copy everything. So make sure you don't do what I did, and make sure you copy the SSH as well. That's why I was wondering. I was like, key invalid. I just don't get what's going on here. All right, so that right there allows you to set up your code. So let's say that, let's go back to, let's create a new repository. Oops. You know I'm going to create a new key after this video because I just shared my key. And we'll just call it AV. Test public, that's fine. I'm just going to click create repository. All right, so I need to set this up. So I need to do a session on it. So I'm gonna click SSH right here. I'm gonna click the copy button here. I'm gonna go back into terminal right here, clear my screen. PWD, I'm gonna go to my documents, boom. I am gonna create a new directory called test, cd into test, cd into test again. All right, there we go. So now we're gonna do that git clone. So we're gonna do git clone. We're gonna paste in the URL that we got, which was right here. We'll copy that URL there. And we're gonna hit enter and hope it works. Sometimes what happens on a Mac, it at least my Mac, it pauses here. But typically, no matter what, whether this works or it doesn't work, if you're using a Git Bash or a terminal, this is what you have to do in order to do it. I have some type of hang up on my Mac for some reason, and I've noticed that lately. And I think it's because I need to update or something. All right, so as you see, there was a delay, and it shouldn't have been like that. It should be quick. Cloning into AV, warning you appear to have cloned an empty repository. Absolutely, because there's nothing there. So let me clear my screen. List. We're just going to add something. So what's important here is we have a repository called AV. In order to put stuff in there, which you guys probably already know, we're going to cd into AV, and then we're going to add something here. So we'll say test.js. So we'll do that, and then I'll open it. I'll say edit test.js just to have something in there. I'll have to do it view test.js. All right, so now we'll add something. I'll click the I on the keyboard, and we're just adding something stupid. I'll just say test file for imports. Great. Hit escape. I'm going to hit the colon WQ exclamation mark, which is work saved. So now if I go into view test, actually if I hit the up arrow, I should have my stuff there. I can just type in quit. All right, so now we have that there. So from just a refresher on Git in general, first thing that you want to type in, Git status. You see here no commits yet, but you have a red. Red means that you have an untracked file. It means that, hey, you know what, you made a change to something. That means that you want to test it. You want to add it. Now, I want to show you something different. I want to show you something else. So let's add another file and call it Jeffrey.txt. Okay. And then we view Jeffrey.txt, and we add I, and we'll just say, this is my documentation to support my CI/CD configuration. Perfect. So save it. All right. So now if we go into, we run that same command, get status. Now we have two things. The reason I wanted to show you that is because we can do a couple things. When we go to check this in, we could check in everything, or we could check in just one thing. Okay. So for example, how you do that, you would type in git add, and if you hit dot, that's going to add everything. If you hit specific, so for example, let's say test.js, hit enter, you type in git status again, we'll have one red and one green, and that's what we have. New file test.js means that, hey, you just committed to pushing this up the branch. But the red one means, oh, Jeffrey.txt, we're not ready for that. So think about that. If you're working in an environment where you're working in pair programming, you have multiple developers, and you guys are working on something, but something's not ready to be pushed up to the next level, such in this case here is GitHub, you just leave it behind. You only choose one. But if you're ready to do all of them, you could just do git add dot. Now if I go to git status, they should all be green. That just adds everything in there. We'll talk about later if you come into a situation where you need to uncommit, we'll talk about how to uncommit. But for now, this is just the basics. So we've already added that. So now the first thing that we need to do here is a commit. So we're going to, let me make sure, I'll do a PWD, make sure what directory I'm in. So I'm going to do a git commit -m for message. And you have to give it a message, give it a detail message. And I'll say adding first files to repo, just like that. Now it provides information. This is what branch. Now I didn't choose the branch. I could have changed branches, and we'll talk about that once you guys get up to module 4. But for now, I'm just leaving it at the default branch. Usually master is no longer the branch. They usually use a different branch called main, but I'm surprised to see that. Anyways, 2 files created. It gives it a commit ID right here. Commit ID is used for other purposes. So the last thing I need to do is push my stuff up. Now, if you do git push, it'll push it locally, but if you do origin, it'll push it up to the repository. So we'll do git push origin and hit enter, and boom, event done. So this should push it up to the master branch, which it shows here. So now if I refresh my page, as you see on a master branch, you could come in here and create other branches. But for now, we have Jeffrey and test.js. Now, let's say that we went into Jeffrey.txt and we wanted to make a change. And now, typically I would say download this and do it, but we'll just do it on the fly here. And I'll say, adding new line. That's it. Commit change from here. I'll put added a new line, for example. Now, if you're doing pair programming, fine. And we'll commit it to the branch. Great. So if I come over here, and what I could do here is I could do git pull origin, and this will come in handy for module 4 when you guys are doing pair programming. As you see here, it pulls information. It pulls it, hey, you know what, we just pull a change from the master branch. So if I do an ls and I view, I think it was Jeffrey.txt, we should see that change that we just made. There you go. So if you guys are doing pair programming, that's how that will work. And actually that's it right now for this video. This takes you through the basics of how to get your environment up and running. This video concludes on just GitHub itself. The next video that we'll talk about will be about using a service called Netlify. We're going to use it to push code to another environment. So I know at this point we've learned how to set up our environments with Endpoint Park. So we're going to use a different service, and we'll talk about that, which will be helpful to have moving forward. So in this course, I expect people to use terminal mode. You'll be required to provide snippets of your code that you did within terminal. I don't want people using GitHub directly. You can use GitHub directly, but you're not learning anything, so I need to see that you're doing it the right way. Thank you for watching the video, and if you have questions, send me a message. Bye.